wonder what it was really like to be a Roman gladiator? Forget everything you've seen in the movies. The thumbs down gesture probably didn't mean death, and most gladiators weren't just slaves thrown to the lions. The real story is far more complex, brutal, and surprisingly full of hope and strategy. Today, we're stepping into the Colosseum to uncover the truth behind the legends of the arena. So, who were these legendary fighters? They came from all walks of Roman life. Yes, many were prisoners of war, condemned criminals, or indebted individuals forced into the arena. For them, it was a harsh sentence, a life of brutal discipline under the watchful eye of a Lanista *, the owner of a gladiator school, or Ludus *. But here's a twist. Some gladiators were volunteers. These were free men, often ex-soldiers or thrill-seekers, who signed contracts for a set period, lured by the promise of fame, glory, and serious prize money. They were the rock stars of their day, their images gracing mosaics and pottery, their names whispered in the streets of Rome. Life in a gladiator school was no joke. It was a combination of a military barracks and a high-security prison. Gladiators lived in small cells under a strict regimen of training, diet, and discipline. Their day was packed with grueling physical conditioning, lifting weights, running, and endless weapon drills. But it wasn't just about brute force. They were trained by specialists, former gladiators themselves, who taught them the intricate techniques of their specific fighting style. Reciarius with his net and trident needed a completely different skill set than a heavily armed Murmillo with his large shield and sword. It was a deadly chess match, and every gladiator had to master their role. And what about their diet? Archaeologists have studied the bones of gladiators and found they were incredibly well fed, but not in the way you might think. Their diet was carb-heavy, packed with barley, beans, and vegetables. This created a layer of fat over their muscles, which might sound counterintuitive, but it served a purpose. This layer helped protect them from superficial cuts, which looked dramatic and pleased the crowd but weren't necessarily fatal. They were essentially built to endure and put on a good show. After training, they would drink a special tonic made from bone ash, which was rich in calcium to help strengthen their bones and speed up recovery. These guys were finely tuned athletes, and their owners invested heavily in keeping them in peak condition. Now, let's talk about the main event, the games themselves. A day at the Colosseum was a massive spectacle. It often began in the morning with wild beast hunts called Venetians where exotic animals from across the empire were pitted against armed hunters. The midday slot was reserved for the grim public executions of criminals, but the afternoon belonged to the gladiators. The crowd roared as they entered the arena, marching in a grand procession, chanting the famous line, "We who are about to die, salute you." Though historians now believe this was likely only said during a specific, unique event, not every single match. The fights were not the chaotic free-for-alls often depicted. They were highly regulated duels between specific types of gladiators, carefully paired to create a balanced and exciting contest. A nimble asterisk, RETIRIUS, asterisk might be matched against a slow but powerful asterisk, SECURR asterisk. It was a clash of styles, speed versus strength, defense versus offense. Referees known as Summa Rudis oversaw the combat, enforcing rules and stopping the fight if a warrior was disarmed or seriously wounded. This brings us to the biggest myth of all, the thumbs down for death. The image of an emperor giving a thumbs down to seal a gladiator's fate is iconic, but likely inaccurate. The decision of life or death, called the missio rested with the editor. The sponsor of the games, often the emperor himself, but he would always gauge the mood of the crowd. If a gladiator fought bravely and skillfully, even in defeat, the crowd would often wave handkerchiefs or raise their index fingers, a sign to spare him. The gesture for death was likely a thumb pointed towards the throat, mimicking the act of a sword strike. But here's the crucial point. Gladiators were an expensive investment. A skilled, popular gladiator was a valuable asset to their lanista. Killing them off after every match was simply bad business. Most fights did not end in death. A gladiator who surrendered, often by raising a finger, was usually spared to fight another day. While the risk of death was ever present, survival, and even victory, was a very real possibility. So, what happened to a successful gladiator? Victory brought not just survival, but rewards. They received prize money, lavish gifts, and immense popularity. Graffiti from Pompeii shows fans scribbling the names of their favorite fighters on walls, just like modern sports fans. A truly legendary gladiator could earn enough to buy their freedom. After fulfilling their contract or earning their liberty, they were awarded a wooden sword called a rudis. This symbolized their release from the obligation to fight. Some retired to a quiet life, some became trainers for the next generation, and a few, addicted to the roar of the crowd, even chose to continue fighting as free men. The age of gladiators eventually faded as the Roman Empire transformed. The rise of Christianity, with its opposition to the brutal games, and the economic decline of the empire made staging such extravagant spectacles unsustainable. The last known gladiatorial contest took place in the early 5th century. The legacy of the gladiator is a powerful one. They were slaves and superstars, victims and heroes. Their story is a testament to the human capacity for survival, skill, and the desperate pursuit of freedom and glory in the face of death. They weren't just mindless brawlers. They were disciplined, highly skilled professional athletes in the deadliest sport the world has ever known. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back to ancient Rome. If you found this interesting, please hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into history. it, and let me know in the comments which historical topic you'd like to see next. Until then, stay curious.